Seriously? Yes. This is my look for today's Banter Blitz. If you follow me on Facebook, you probably realized that I was live streaming getting ready for the Banter Blitz. So yeah, this is what happened. I'm ready for you. I'm so ready. Let me know if you are going to celebrate Halloween as well, if you are going to dress up as someone, something, or if you don't care about Halloween. This is going to be Banter Blitz, and I was told to play the Halloween Gambit, which I might or might not do. Depends. I'll see. It's a piece sacrifice. Like, did you ever see me sacrifice a piece? Well, no idea. Hello to everyone, I'm going to be monitoring the chat as usual, and I'm going to show you something real quick before we begin, because today is the last day you can get my training course. So if you have seen the links I posted it on Facebook, on my Facebook page, on my Twitter, it's on my website, annarudolfchess.com. I think that's the easiest. If you go to annarudolfchess.com, that's my website, and there's a link you can click. That is my training course. And this is only for those who want to be my pupils. If you want to be my pupil, you have 7 more hours to do it. It's not that the training course will not exist after these 7 hours and 56 minutes, but it's gonna be twice the price. So there's a 50% promotion. Only for 7 more hours, 7 hours and 56 minutes. If you want to get it today, because it will not be cheaper tomorrow. It will be twice the price. So you can get it on annarudolfchess.com. This is my baby, my training method. I've been working on this for a couple of months, basically this whole year. And the aim of this training course is to help club players to improve their chess. It is for club players who are stuck. So if you are stuck at a certain level and you feel like you cannot improve, no matter how much you study, how much you practice, how much effort you put into it, if you don't see progress, it's because you need to fix obstacles. If you need to fix certain areas of your chess. So I'm talking about improving in the areas of not blundering ever again, winning positions, spotting tactical motives, knowing what is the right plan, and therefore knowing how to evaluate the position, what the position requires, and then how to decide what shall be the right continuation. These are some of the main points of my method, and it's a structured thinking method. No, that doesn't make sense. It's a structured thought process that I'm going to teach you. So if you want to know what to do from move 1 to move 121, this is the training course for you. If you don't want to know that, what is the most effective way of thinking during a chess game, and how not to blunder, how not to win a miss, and how to always know what is the right plan, there you go, annarudolfchess.com. And this is just because today is the end of the promotion. So let's get on with our Banter Blitz session. I only needed to let you know about this before you miss this promotion. So 7 more hours left. Let's go to the Chess24 play zone. You know that I'm playing on Chess24, so you might be watching on this on YouTube, on Chess24's YouTube channel. But if you want to chat with me, I'm looking at the chat on Chess24. So go to chess24.com, watch shows. That's where I am, live right now. And I'm going to accept challenges, 5-minute blitz game. So you can challenge me if you go to the shows page. Under the video, there's my name. Click on it. 5-minute premium members get priority. Challenge me right now. And whether we play the Halloween Gambit, I don't know. Do you want me to play the Halloween Gambit? Do you know what is the Halloween Gambit? First, you should know what it is, and then you let me know whether I'm supposed to play it. So, I'm trying to find people who I haven't played yet. I think I haven't played against you yet. Alaba. I can't see it. Can you guys see it? Where's my chessboard? Alaba 27 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 drink. So oh yeah, and there's this pumpkin. The pumpkin is a handicap. The pumpkin is covering my rook. I think I can still make moves with the rook, but it's somewhat hidden behind the pumpkin. So yeah, Whether I will realize that I have a rook on a1, that's a question. And I'm starting with the white pieces. Incredible! What a Halloween feast. e4 is my usual opening. Alaba from Germany, nice to meet you. You are playing the favorite opening of my dad, the Scandinavian. And I talk about this in my training course, how to pick the opening that is right for you. Knight f6, so that is a variation. Usually queen takes d5 I see in most games, but knight f6 is the other main variation. Black wants to capture on d5 with the knight. Oh, you change your mind, that's interesting. I did not see this move order before. Actually, you prevented my go-to opening against the Scandinavian. Sometimes I don't push my pawn to d4, but I place the bishop on c4 and then d3 with the queen on a5. This is a different scenario with the queen on d8. You're supposed to be developing your pieces. White will have more space, but you should be careful. Careful in a way that if you overestimate your position just because you have more space and it's all nice, then black will have counter chances. Now taking the pawn is not good because the b7 pawn was hanging. After c6 he does threaten to capture on d4. I think I could sacrifice it, but why not protect it if you can? So I think I'm going to fianchetto my bishop because I feel like fianchettoing the bishop, or fianchetto. And then castle kingside. You could also castle queenside if you are an aggressive player that drinks blood. But I'm gonna just castle kingside. Tasty. So you basically develop your pieces, bring the rooks to the e and the d file. You've got more space and the pair of bishops. These are the pluses for white's position. Black, on the other hand, has a solid structure, so it's not easy to crack this nut. It's not easy to actually do something here. And now he wants to either double my pawns or take my bishop. So I can take on d5, but that means that there will be a pawn on d5 and the pawn structure changes in a way that I don't want. I'm just gonna drop back the bishop to c1. If he plays knight b4, then I should... he just takes on c3. I'll take back with the queen. I don't want to double pawns. There's no bishop b4, so it's okay. If a5, then you should prevent bishop b4. I did not, of course, take into account b takes c3. I don't like ugly pawn structures. I don't know about you, but I don't like ugly pawn structures. I think the best for black here is to bring the knight to d5. And if I capture on d5, then it's just gonna be an equal-like position where even black's bishop is better. Ooh, e5, I did not see that coming. Now, it doesn't mean that it's bad, but I did not think about this because in general, when you have the pair of bishops, it is you, the player with the pair of bishops, who wants to open the position. So e5, I thought, was something that would favor me in general, but maybe in this concrete situation, it's not that bad, actually. Let's see. Where shall I place the queen? I'm gonna go to b4 and see whether he wants to push a5 or c5. And then I will move maybe to... where shall I move afterwards? h4? c4? I don't really know where the best square is right now for my queen. I don't see a concrete way of saying that, okay, that's where I wanna go. Queen e7 is of course a threat. So if I can get my queen to e7, but I believe he will prevent it. He will not push a5. If he plays rook e8, preventing queen e7, which is the threat here, queen e7 pinning the d7 knight, the knight would be hanging and the bishop would also be hanging on e5 because of the pin. Okay, he prevented it because of dropping back the... I don't want to move the queen. Hey, stop. So... he prevented my queen e7. This is still vulnerable, so I should have a look whether queen g4, but then knight e5. I will just play bishop f4, and now black is getting into trouble because he has to be keeping an eye on this knight. He has to go queen c8, which is really ugly. Or queen d8, but stepping into the pin. No. Queen d8, queen takes b7, and black is losing. Queen c8, only move. Queen b6? That's a better move. I was wrong. Queen b6 is strong. I can't take the knight because my queen is hanging, and if I take on b6, he takes back. Well done. Good defensive tool. Well done, Alaba. This I did not see coming. Doesn't mean I'm gonna panic. It just means that I'm going to move away with my queen. Then I will have to deal with this pawn. b3, I can play next move. I will go, I believe, b3 and not c3, because if c3, queen takes rook b1, queen takes c3. Not gonna give up all my pawns on the queen side. I see there was a suggestion. Oh, I think I missed the better move. Done, thank you. I think you are right. Now that I think about your move, rook takes d7 was possible. After bishop takes e5. My queen was hanging, but after rook takes d7, also the black queen would have been hanging. So yeah, well done. Then that I believe is the best move. I'm going to show that position after the game, if I survive the game. I like my position, and I'm a bit... yeah, I was surprised that black was taking so long. But yeah, once again, same trick. The knight is still hanging, but he wants to trade queens. I'm gonna go back to b3, and he can't do it anymore. My queen is protected. Now he has to move the knight b6, but then bishop d6. He's losing material. So I like my position. But probably still, rook takes d7 was better. We are going to have a look at it after the game. Don't go anywhere. So let's win the exchange. No, Arthur, don't vote for the Halloween Gambit. Do you guys know what is the Halloween Gambit? Let me know in the chat if you know what is the Halloween Gambit. I already look Halloween enough. Am I not scary enough? And you want me to play the Halloween Gambit? Okay, it's an exchange up, but you still need to win the game. So let's just make this knight insecure. I can't push a5 at the moment because of the queen on h5, but it's always good to have this move just about to be played. Because once I chase away the knight, the whole structure collapses. I could take on b7 and all these pawns will fall. Therefore, I just need to find a way to either attack the queen, but g4, I don't really want. Ooh, no, this is mating too. I'm going to take and rook e8 back rank mate. I'm sorry, but I like giving mating 1. Sorry that I'm not sorry. Thank you for the game, Alaba. I don't think the game was decided because of these last moves, so don't worry, it's not because of rook d8, but as a general tip. But first of all, blunder, don't blunder mating 1. That's part of my method. But another general tip that I've given to you guys often in my middle game courses is that when you are an exchange up, you want to trade rooks. When you are an exchange down, don't trade rooks. The reason is that once there's only one rook on the board, so once we trade a pair of rooks and there will be only one left, my rook is much stronger because you don't have a rook. So keep that in mind. Of course, it's better not to blunder mates, but in general too, you don't want to trade rooks. So after a4, don't panic. I'm not threatening a5 immediately. It's an exchange down and white is winning, but still it's a blitz game, and in blitz games anything can happen, and it's Halloween, so take that into account. Let's go back to the moment I was critical after bishop takes e5. I believe Dan is correct that I had a better move. First of all, e5 is, Alaba, this is to you. You have a very solid structure here with the pawn on c6 and e6. You can get this pawn structure from other openings too, other solid openings. It's a very typical pawn structure, very typical setup. And it happens often that white has more space and a pair of bishops. But it's not the end of the world. So I will need to work a lot in order to get something out of this position. I will probably move my queen away, push c4. I will improve my bishops. There's no concrete way for white to actually get an advantage here. I'm better, but it's not a big deal. It's not a big advantage. It's just slightly better for white. Now, if you start opening the position, that will favor my bishops and, more importantly, in this moment, my rooks. My rooks are on the e and the d file already. So you don't want to open the position when the opponent's rooks are on central files ready for the opening of those lines and your rooks aren't. First, you should develop your rooks And then you can think of c5 or e5 if you really want to. But I would strongly suggest that you try to keep the pressure. Maybe playing for c5 is better, so rook c8, rook d8. But in general, I would simply recommend that you bring the knights to d5, you bring the rooks, and you see what white is going to do. These openings are slightly passive, but if you can stay quiet, improve the position, of course. Staying quiet doesn't mean king h8, king g8. That's never the way to play. So you should improve the position, but keep the pawn structure just as it is and wait for me to advance pawns, and then you will see how you capture. So I think e5 in general is not a good idea, but here, tactically, you guys are right, I think. Let's calculate. After bishop takes e5, rook takes d7 is an option I did not take into account. The idea would be, of course, is that if queen takes, I'm taking on e5. And if bishop takes c3, I'm taking on c7, and bishop takes e1. But it's not working. Guys, I'm an exchange down. I thought it might be working, but I don't see a way to make it work. Rook takes d7, bishop takes c3. The problem is that my rook is on e1. Imagine my rook was on f1. Then yes, then it would work. Rook takes d7, bishop takes c3, rook takes c7, and white is there in that position a piece up. So what a big difference one square makes where the rook is. It's better on e1 because it's developed and it's on the e file, but in this concrete tactical position, on f1 it would make me be able to play rook takes d7. With the rook on e1 I can't win material. But the idea was very, very good. So well done Dan and everybody who pointed it out in the chat. Let's go for a new game. And I hope I will get all the other games with the black color and my opponent can play the Halloween Gambit. Oh, the Halloween Gambit. It's not really the opening that I dream of, to be honest. Okay, I see a cool name. Great Blunder. Since we've just talked about blunders, I think I'm going to accept this challenge. Great Blunder. Let me see if the board is correct. And yeah, now my pumpkin is covering the h8 rook. d4. Let's go d5. Today I promise I'm not going to play the Queen's Gambit. Or will I? If he forces me, but I thought he doesn't play c4. Okay, I should play for now very solid and just copy it. That's my go-to. I don't like this opening, but to be honest, because it starts out always so boring. Okay, I'm not gonna copy it exactly, but I don't like when white plays like this. I find it boring. I'm sorry. So you need to make it different. You need to do something, whether it's c5 or knight d7 and knight d4 quickly, but you need to do something. Which way shall I do it? Let's go this way. It's playing so fast. I will play knight d4. And now, let's go f5. Knight e5. Why is he playing so fast? He knows it all. He knows everything. Okay, I'm gonna now just take this and do I want to play that? I just want to modify the position. Like, let's play a different kind of position. This is not the best way to play, but I just want to get him out of his usual positions. That was all my aim with this. So I'm inventing all this. It's not the usual way to play. You don't have to take on e5 and you don't have to move the knight away. The knight was perfectly fine on e4. So the only thing I'm doing now is to get him into a position that he did not see before, because I feel like my opponent, Great Blunder from Germany, nice to meet you, he has played this opening several times, it feels like. What I'm aiming to do is to get a position that he is not so familiar with. Of course, it also means that I might not be playing the best moves, but psychologically, I believe this is what you should do when your opponent is very comfortable. Try to get him out of his comfort zone. You don't want him to be playing the same openings. My eyes are going to be running with this black makeup, so excuse me if I suddenly start crying. And also my... the blood. So, what shall we do here? I defended everything, but I need to develop this guy. Let's go this way. Just simply b6, b6, and then bishop b7 or bishop a6. Of course, after knight d4, I'm not gonna do that. My pawns will be hanging. Yeah, this feels like the typical slightly worse position for black. How shall I deal with this? For now, I can play queen d7. Looking ugly, but I want to develop my bishop. I don't want my bishop to be on d7. That would have been quite passive. Good stonewall for black. I see Jam Snacker saying it. Actually, bishop d7 and bishop e8. I think you mean Kramnik student. Yeah, that was a possibility. I agree. Bishop d8, bishop e8, bishop g6. But I feel like even then, if white pushes f4, then I don't have a diagonal for my bishop. So I'm aiming to place the bishop for now. My aim is to place it on a6 and then take on c4. I believe this is the way I can activate my bishop. Of course, my pawns will be weak, but I couldn't take on c4 without playing bishop a6. This e6 weakness I should take care of. So I think after I can either take now on c4 or bring a rook to d8 first. Let's bring the rook first, because I don't see a way for white to prevent my plan. I'm going to take the moment I want to take on c4. Or I don't. I can wait. I can keep the tension forever. Actually, probably the best is to wait. Especially now after queen c2. Okay, let's bring this one as well. So I have developed all my pieces. And I should find the right moment to take on c4. Sometimes you also want to look at moves like a4. Especially with the rook on a8, it made more sense. But I didn't want to allow b4. And this is a position where we both are trying to... Okay, he wants to push b4. I'm going to take this guy. I will not stand the pressure anymore. If bishop takes, I'm gonna take queen takes. I can play queen d5. I'm trying to get the d3 square for my knight. So I would like to trade both the bishop and the queen. Oh, he doesn't want to allow that, but this will let me push. Do I want to push? I feel like I like a4, although it's not urgent to play a4. Why did he want to take like this? I'm slightly puzzled. I would like to improve my pieces. This is a bit weird, but I want to improve how my pieces are coordinating, and they are not coordinating very well at the moment. So I want to push c5 in the right moment, even though then I give up the b5 square. But I just want this bishop to be more active on this diagonal. It would be very nice. It was okay on a6, but after the pawn landed on c4, I was not doing much anymore. I couldn't put more pressure on the c4 pawn. So that's why I'm looking to reorganize my pieces. I'm trying to open the long diagonal for this bishop, even though I'm going to give up the b5 square. But I will at least chase away the knight from d4, where it was attacking the e6 pawn. Okay, the pawn is hanging, but I'm going to attack first his knight, and if knight b5, then the pawn is not hanging any longer. And then also I can go knight g5 so that I prevent bishop f3, because if I play something like queen c6 next move, bishop f3 would prevent all sorts of discovered attacks. I think I'm going to play this first. Maybe he wants knight a7, but then I can play rook a8. Knight a7, rook a8, so he has no time to take this pawn with the knight hanging. I'm going to... I'm stepping into knight a7, but I'm threatening mate in 1, so he can take, check, but still he needs to deal with this mate threat. And also, depends on what he plays, but I can also play knight h3 check. Even if it can be captured, there would be a mate on h1. So imagine if this is protected in a way like bishop f1, I can play knight h3, and g takes h3 is not possible. Now this is the scenario. Look! Oh, this is beautiful! I'm so excited. I made a tactical solution. A crushing combination. Incredible. In one game out of 100, Anna finds a tactical combination. Now, it's not that I don't find tactical combinations, but I usually don't have the kind of positions. I win end games. I mean, that's my style. So this is Sopiko. This is how Sopiko would win her games. Thank you, great blunder. Actually, in the end, it was a great blunder. I'm sorry for the handle, but you were playing very well until this point. So here, after knight g5, it becomes more dangerous. Rook d1 was actually stepping into my plan because queen c6, and now you are getting into trouble. It's not winning yet for black, of course, but bishop f1 is the most natural, and you stepped into my idea. So I was explaining here that if bishop f1 that bishop f1 is the only way to protect it with a piece, then I can go knight h3, and there's a mate on h1. And it's better after rook takes d1, because if I just give a check here, well, you can do it with this move order, but you will have to take on d1 no matter what. If not, there's no point of having the knight on h3. You want to take on f2 as well. So rook takes d1 here, or a move earlier, as I did. Rook takes d1 here, and next move, knight h3 check. So it's winning. It's either mate after g takes h3, queen h1 mate, or king h1, knight takes f2. You are winning the queen, and you're still continuing the mating attack. So this was because of this blunder. I think it was already not that easy. I mean, you have to go f3. There's no other way. You cannot prevent mate with any other move. You can take here. It changes the situation if you take here first, check, and then bishop f1, because now, after knight h3 check, I can't take on f2, and I cannot deflect your queen. I mean, yeah, I can play rook d1. Actually, yes, I can. This should be winning too, rook d1. So you can't take the rook because of knight f2. And if you play something like bishop b2, I will take on b1 and then on f2, or first on f2. So it was bad, bishop f1 in any position. The only way you could defend against the mate was to push f3, block this diagonal, and then I don't have knight h3. So the game would have gone on. This is nowhere near the end. This is still just complicated. Maybe I would have taken on d1 to bring this rook to the d file, and then try to provoke more weaknesses. In the future, perhaps I could go for h5, h4, h3 if you let me, to weaken more your king. But this is still a game, and I think this should be around equal, the position. So it's just this one move, bishop f1, that lost the game for you. I think apart from that, it was interesting. I still don't like to face this opening as black because I feel like it's very symmetrical. So I try to do something that's not that symmetrical, but it also means that I often get into an inferior position because I try so hard not to have an equal position in this opening. Of course, when you play against opponents of your rating or higher, then you don't mind that the position is equal. But when I want to play for a win, and in Banter Blitz, I always want to play for a win because that's more entertaining, right? I never play for a draw. So when you play for a win, sometimes you need to take these kind of risks as well, that you might not play the best move just in order to take your opponent out of his comfort zone, out of his normal opening variation, out of the main line, because you simply maybe pick the second best or the third best move due to these psychological reasons, and to get an imbalanced position. So that was my main point. Yes, the show is to everyone. I talk to everyone. Does it look like I don't talk to some of you? I'm talking to everyone, but premium members get priority when challenging. So let's go for some more challenges. Let's see who wants to play on Halloween against me. I'm thirsty. Did you know that I stream for 2 hours on my Facebook? On my Facebook page, and for 1 hour on Instagram. I didn't even know there was a time limit on Instagram, but it kicked me out. It was too long for Instagram, my whole stream. So I streamed how I did this whole look. And it was also a Q&A about my training course, the Anna Rudolf method. And you might have heard it You might have heard me say it 100 times, but I keep on repeating it because today is the last day you can get it for half price. So if you want to get it today and not tomorrow. Seriously. I would do the same. I love saving. Don't get it for the full price, get it on the promotion price. Today is the last day for the promotion. So I'm white against Graf von Palen. That looks a lot like a player I know. Let's go for e4. Do I have to? Oh, thank you that I cannot play the Halloween Gambit. It's e4, e4, e5. The Sicilian. Let's see which variation of the Sicilian. Okay, let's go for the Rossalim. I don't think I played this often in Banter Blitz, so this might be something that recently at least we did not see. With d6. I usually take immediately to double pawns. Then I finish my development. And these are positions that are very nice for both colors. So you can play this for a win with both colors. It's an imbalanced position already. As you see, I like imbalanced positions for playing for a win. Okay, rook b8 immediately is not the main move, so that's why I'm thinking. I'm thinking whether... I think I can just play b3 and bishop b2. So normally black would play g6, bishop g7 quickly. He did not. Will he take my knight or play bishop h5? Bishop h5. Okay, I'm going to go bishop b2 and e5. Oh yeah, this is another variation, of course. I'm going to play with d3, knight d2, which is quite solid. So as you see, this pawn structure is very typical of the Rossolimo. Now, the only thing I don't like is that I'm pinned and I don't have the usual knight maneuver that I like. I can go knight c4, knight e3, knight f5. Will I get there in time? Maybe I will. Okay, let's go for that. The other option was that I first move away with the queen e1, queen e3, and then improve the knights. But that would have looked awkward. The queen on e3 is not really where it should be. So here the question is whether black has a good way to prevent my idea. I want to play knight f5 and then maybe even g4 later. With the knight on f5, it's already an attacking square, a nice place for the knight. If your opponent castles kingside and you manage to have your knight on f5, that's usually already very aggressive, at least for that piece. Of course, one piece doesn't give mate, but with the knight on f5 there are already tactical motives because of the hanging e7 bishop in some positions, because of the g7 square. a5, he wants to push a4 because my bishop would be hanging on b2, so I prevent that. And my training course is a lot about that too. Prophylactic thinking. So next move I want to go knight f5. And so I will. Knight d7, where is he heading to? He can't move the bishop now because the pawn would be hanging on d6. The bishop g6, well, doesn't really threaten anything. I don't mind if he takes. So let's go and improve this knight. Knight d2, and I can go on at c4, attack this pawn, and the a5 pawn also is a target. So I'm targeting the d6 pawn and the a5 pawn. I can bring my queen to f3. f4 in some position too, with the knight on f5 and the bishop on b2. He doesn't want it. You see, the knight on f5 is so dangerous that your opponent will want to capture it. Okay, knight e4 looks like a very tempting move, and I think I will go for it. Knight c4 is the other option. Knight c4, maybe I'm gonna win the pawn already on a5. Knight c4. d5 he can't play because the pawn would be hanging, but knight c4, queen d7, and my pawn on f5 is hanging. I should play queen f3. I will play first queen f3 and then decide whether it's knight c4 or knight e4. Because I don't really want to defend the pawn on f5 with g4. I think that's an unnecessary weakening. I should play somewhat faster. That's my evaluation of the situation. Queen c7 is logical, but now I will just go knight c4 and bishop c3. I want to attack this weak pawn. That's an isolated pawn, and I block it with the a4 pawn, so he cannot escape. He will have to protect it with pieces. He can't push d5 because of the hanging e5 pawn, Yeah, knight d5 prevents bishop c3, but that doesn't last forever. So, alright, knight b4 can come later on, so let's not underestimate the opponent's chances either. I think knight d5 is a good move, of course. I'm just wondering what shall be my response. I will first develop my rook. I'm wondering whether I should go for bishop c1, bishop d2, just to maneuver the bishop in a way that it gets out of the knight's square, so I can attack the a5 pawn. Knight b4, I can play rook e2, just not blunder the c2 pawn and the fork. Bishop c1, bishop d2 could be an idea here. Otherwise, well, sometimes, of course, I can look at sacrifices on e5, but at the moment, and especially after f6, I don't have any sacrifice there. So I think I'm just gonna go for the bishop maneuver. I will place my bishop on d2. And if knight b4, rook e2. It's a good square for the knight, because it doesn't let me play bishop d2, then this pawn will be hanging. And yeah, he managed to kick my knight away from c4, so he did a good job there. I think he played that part very well, but now I'm going to go for the king side. So if I can't win the a5 pawn, I'm gonna go for the king. Knight g4, queen g3 could be next moves. So I think black played well that stage, protecting the e5 pawn with f6, even though it means that his bishop is quite passive now behind those pawns, but it's a very, very strong center that he has built. Knight g4, h5, but then I will move my knight away and this pawn would be hanging on h5. So h5 is a one-move threat, you drop back with the knight and then the h5 pawn cannot be protected. So I wish he plays h5. If he doesn't play h5, I'm gonna go queen g3 and see what does he want to do against knight h6 or bishop h6. King h8, I'm expecting, yes, and now I should be smart. f4 looks like a good option. Let's go for it. I just don't like that my rook is hanging on e2, so I'm opening a file where my rook is hanging, but I don't see an immediate tactical way of exploiting it. Okay, now what he wants, that's smart, but I think I still should go for this. No, probably this was just bad for me, because now if rook takes c4, knight takes c2, and also there's queen d1 check sometimes. I'm gonna go bishop b2 first, and then I want to take the pawn. But I think he did the right thing. That's why I didn't like the rook on e2, because my rooks were not connected and it was a hanging piece. So he did play well that stage. I want to take this pawn, but also... Oh, okay, let me take this. It's weakening my pawn structure for sure, but... Okay, I guess he wanted... What? I don't understand. Seriously, I don't see why... Why did he play this? Okay, he will get back the pawn on c2, but I don't understand knight a6. I think his knight was very well placed on b4. Queen d1, dropping back. Queen takes c2. Oh, yeah, he's gonna take lots of pawns. I can go rook e8. That's my attack, the back rank. So after queen takes c2, rook e8. If king g8, I have queen e6 check, and I'm winning. I think I am winning. And I still have time. Okay, this check I should still deal with. Does he have a way? No, queen e6 and next move mate. Ta-da! Then I will go through that part because I thought it was a very interesting position. Graf von Palen, you played very well. It was only this very last stage of the game where I thought that you made a mistake, because the whole game was super interesting. So kudos to you. You played very interesting chess, very inspired moves, because all this... I liked how you dealt with this position. So in this middle game, I thought white was better. I like this position for white a lot because it's very comfortable. With the knight on c4, I'm threatening bishop c3, and that pawn would drop. So if you have to go rook a8 in that position, then it's already bad. And you can't play d5 because the e5 pawn is hanging. So what you did was actually, I think, the best response. Kudos to you, knight d5, preventing bishop c3 with your knight. And later, you played f6, which seems like a move that I think not many club players would want to play f6 here. Yes, it protects the pawn, but it also restricts the bishop a lot. So in this moment, it doesn't seem like the best move in the world. And I think it is a very good idea, because after bishop c1, knight b4, it's all with a tempo. You push d5 and you chase my knight away from c4. So it's very well played. I think here this is just an unclear position. I'm not even sure that I have anything here like a slight advantage. After king h8, I don't have any concrete threats. I think black is doing more than fine because of this knight. Very strong knight on b4, not allowing me to place the bishop on d2. I can't, well, I can, but if I play c3, it means that I'm weakening both the b3 and the d3 pawns. Especially here, the b3 pawn is what's painful to me. If later the rook comes to the b file, you can double rooks on the b file. So I don't want to weaken my pawn structure on the queen side. I don't want to give you targets. But if I don't do that, then this knight will not leave. And that's why I was surprised when you left the b4 square afterwards. I don't think you have to. f4, here, once again, you reacted so well. Like, if you take, white is doing very well here. Queen is hanging and then the rook comes. This is a very good position for white, I believe. Not winning, probably, but very nice position. But you found this e4 temporary pawn sacrifice. Well, temporary. It's a pawn trade, but you have to spot it, so it's well done. e4, I can't really take this pawn because of knight c2 or queen d1, queen takes c2. You can decide how you want to take it. No, not with queen. Yeah, actually you can. I was just thinking whether I have the same trick. Sorry that I started thinking whether queen e1, but queen e1 I can't play here because you take, and then after rook takes knight c2 is a fork. So with the knight on b4 it all changes. I can't take the pawn on e4. I played bishop b2, developing my bishop, connecting the rooks. I want to bring the rook to e1 very quickly. But even like this, I think this bishop d8 is also a good idea, bringing the bishop to b6. But here, I think here you started to see ghosts. not only because of today, but in general. I don't think you need this. Or if you move c4, I thought it was to activate your bishop with a check. So it's a pawn sacrifice, but you weaken my pawns, and maybe later you could play with bishop d4 you can't, but I thought you wanted to simply activate the bishop, and that's why you played c4. So first of all, I'm not sure c4 is the best move here. Maybe you can simply play bishop b6, threatening c4 check. Now, if you already pushed c4, I would have given check on b6. Knight a6 I don't understand, because the knight on b4 is your best piece. This is the piece that restricts my position. I can't take on e4 and I can't move this rook away from e2 because of this knight. So that's the last piece I would touch in this position. That's the best piece. If you have a best piece, if you have a very well placed piece, don't move it away unless you need it for an even better square. I guess what you wanted was knight a6, knight c5, which is logical to protect your e4 pawn and attack my a4 pawn. But even if you get to c5, it takes two moves. I can place my queen on e3 or bishop a3. If I move my king away to h2 and then I play bishop a3, it's not the winning move if you get to c5, and the knight is already very well placed on b4. So don't run away with your well placed piece. Improve the rest of your pieces. Improve this bishop and improve the rooks. Bishop b6 for sure is the move I would have played here. But apart from that, very interesting game, and only the very end was a blunder. Here, after queen d1, you have to trade queens. If not, you are getting mated. After rook e8, there's no move for black. So if you give this check, you have to trade queens. Even though it's a pawn down, You could still fight because this pawn is weak. So knight c5 here. And if I have to go rook a1, then it was worth the pawn sacrifice. My pawn up is here. It's doubled, isolated pawns. That's my pawn up. It's not the end of the world. What is more important is that my rook is active, so I wish I could play rook e6 or something, but the knight is covering it. Oh no, sorry, I'm wrong. And bishop a3 is strong here, even if you can protect this. This pin is annoying. I can go rook b1 or rook e7. No, this looks already bad. I think queen d1 check is the mistake. The last one. First you could play knight c5, and if I pin it, then you'd give a check and my rook would be hanging. Queen d1 check, rook d1, knight is hanging too, queen d4. Well, no, it's not easy already, but certainly moving away the knight from b4 is, I think, the move that made you lose the game in the end, because then it became more difficult already. Thanks for the game. I think I have time for one more, so let's go for one more challenge. Let's see who wants to play on Halloween. For the record, this is red berry, not blood, not wine. If you followed my Facebook Live, then you know I even have the bottle here, just for the record. Let's go for the last challenge of today. Hope that you're enjoying this stream. Before, I saw that you were training already with Andre, the Training Tuesday, very, very entertaining and instructive show. So I hope that you were listening to him. And today also Simon streamed for Halloween. Simon, Ginger GM, Simon. And he was so nice mentioning my course, like he is the best. He was talking about my training course on his show. Like who else would do that? To just talk so nicely about other authors. He's super nice. Okay, I've got my pumpkin on the a1 square, so I think I'm white. Mittel Gambit. Today all my opponents are from Germany, I believe. How do you say Happy Halloween in German? The Paulsen. Or the Taimanov. Khan. So many names for this structure. Alright. I will play with knight c3, bishop e2. Ah, actually if you play a6 that early, then I like to take. And bishop d3. Knight will castle. If knight f6, it's usually e5. g6. Whoa, this is a funny pawn structure. Oh, pawns on light squares. I've never really seen this way. I don't think this is the best, but I should prove that. I should prove that it's not the best. Let's place the queen here, then I will decide about the bishop. I really feel like I could take advantage of the dark squares at some point, like knight a4, bishop e3, place my knight here or a bishop here. I can't play bishop e3 because of d4, but I'm hoping for knight a4 in some moment. Knight a4, queen a5 still. So how can I do that? Okay, let's develop first my pieces. And I don't really mind if he will take on c3, because doubling my pawns that way, yes, my pawns would be isolated and weak, but he would give up a very important piece, which is the dark squared bishop. In this structure, he cannot give away this bishop. That's just a no, no, no. He can't give it away because all the dark squares would be extremely weak after eliminating this bishop, so he can't do that. Now I'm gonna go for knight a4 and I'm heading toward the c5 square. I had to develop my rook first, so after queen a5 I have the possibility to push b3 and my rook is not hanging on the pumpkin square. Queen a5 is still a good move because it not only attacks my knight but also prevents knight c5. But after queen a5, b3, he should deal with the threat of bishop d6. So you see those dark squares are becoming a target. c5 square, d6 square, b6 square, those are my targets. b3 now. And if c5, bishop d6. I announced it. I announced it. I know you don't hear the video. I know it's with a delay. But now I'm just gonna take the pawn. Okay, let's just see if I'm stepping into something. Bishop takes, bishop d7. I can move away the bishop with the tempos and almost win the queen. So this is a very, very healthy pawn up. Bishop b6, queen b4. Or I can take. I'm gonna go bishop b6 first. Maybe this was not the best, because if queen b4, what I'm going to do, I don't want to be repeating moves with bishop c5. Maybe there I could sacrifice a pawn. That's what I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go for c3, give back the pawn, but I want to eliminate this bishop. So if he wants to win back the pawn, he doesn't want to win it back. He had to play, but no, don't do that. Really? Yeah. I'm not gonna comment on this position until the game is over. I said I'm not gonna comment on the position until the game is over. Are we still on? Middle gambit, this is not what you wanted to play, right? Middle gambit. This is too much of a gambit, middle gambit. Middle gambit, I really enjoyed the game, but this is not a gambit to sacrifice your queen. Are you with us? Oh, well, thank you. But with queen a3 you lose the queen, so after c3 you need to accept this pawn. There's just no move. In this position, okay, first of all, this, I think, I mean, I'm not sure, maybe this is a sideline that's possible to play, but I wouldn't recommend it for club players unless you have it super analyzed. Because if you don't have this very well analyzed, you're gonna end up having holes on the dark squares. That's what I was talking about. In this position, for instance, normally I would be worried about having isolated doubled pawns. So these pawns in themselves would be weak. But look at the entire picture. It's not just these pawns, it's the entire picture. Black has all the dark squares weakened. All the pawns are on light squares, which means that the dark squares around them are weak. And there's no dark squared bishop, so giving up this bishop would mean that this is the king of the board. f4 bishop. Then could go to e5, to h6, depending on how black plays, but all the dark squares are mine. I'm gonna be ruling with this bishop and this queen on the dark squares. So this is not a good option for black, but if you can't take, you have, well, knight e7, natural developing move. But after rook d1, I'm gonna go for my idea, which is to place the knight on a4 and then head to c5 or, well, b6, not now, but in general, I'm gonna be targeting the b6, the c5 and the d6 squares. These, the dark squares next to these pawns. Castle, knight a4, queen a5 is a good move, I think, because it forces b3 and protects the c5 square. But now you have to prevent bishop d6, so you need to play rook d8. It's not like a very comfortable position for black. I wouldn't be surprised if I have something concrete here. For instance, you can think of playing bishop g5 and seeing what black does. If he pushes f6, you already weakened him further. His king side you weaken by forcing him push f6, or if he doesn't push, then he has to go back with the queen. Then you go knight c5, or you can play bishop d2 to chase the queen away, and then knight c5. So I'm gonna be playing for those dark squares on c5, as I mentioned, mainly as this is an outpost for my knight. Yes, it can be attacked, but remember that black doesn't really want to trade that dark squared bishop. It's somewhat better to trade it for my bishop than to give it up just for the knight. But even like this, without those bishops on the board, now my queen is going to be really happy on those dark squares. Even if there's no mate without the bishop, my knight on c5 is a very well placed piece. It's a powerful monster, and the c8 bishop is a bad bishop. It's stuck behind the pawns and it can't be developed because even if you push a5, there's just no square for the bishop because of this c5 knight. So no, I wouldn't recommend playing this setup, placing your pawns on the same colors, on the same color squares, unless you have it very well analyzed. So I'm sure it's possible to play it. I'm sure the engine would defend this position, but we are not engines. So unless you understand this position to a great extent, don't go for it, because to me it would be very difficult to defend this as black. So if you don't know this position very much and you don't have it analyzed, then it's really tough for a human to be playing the best moves in this position where there are holes in your position already. It's just move 12 and there are already problems that you need to face. c5 was just a move that blunders the pawn, after which in this position the only problem that white has is that bishop takes a4 is a threat, but that's not a huge deal, since in worst case I could take here, but then black would have the pair of bishops and that compensates for the pawn in a semi-open position, and it's a position that's opening up even more. So I don't want to give the pair of bishops as a compensation. I play bishop b6, and in this position, of course, I don't want to repeat moves. This would be one way to play. Instead, what I wanted to do is to give up my extra pawn for his bishop. So once again, it's my dark squared strategy. I don't have a winning move here, and probably this position is just slightly better, but I enjoy these kind of positions where there are holes on a certain color, and I'm the one who has that bishop, not my opponent. Later in the future, I want to bring this bishop here and the queen to h6, and that would be the mating idea. You know, it's a fianchetto setup without the g7 bishop protecting the king. Of course, it's not possible immediately, but in a few moves, I could get a position with queen e3, bishop d4. I'm already there, bishop d4 attacking the queen and queen h6 next move. So it's already a very dangerous situation. Instead, queen a3 just blunders the queen. You have to go queen d6 if you don't want to take my pawn. Queen a3, and this is the end of the game. Thanks everyone who played against me today on this special Halloween session. Cheers to everyone. Happy Halloween. Let me know in the chat if you enjoyed this session. I promise I'm not gonna dress up as anything next time. But today is Halloween and hey, this is fun. Let me know if you are going to any Halloween parties. To tell you the truth, I'm not going anywhere. I dressed up like this because of you guys. Hope that you appreciate it, and I hope that you remember that if you want to become my pupil, you should do it today, because from tomorrow it's more expensive. 50% discount only till tonight. 6 more hours, I think. Let me show you how many more hours. No, 6 hours and 59 minutes. And I'm stressing out each time I see that counter, but this is how the promotion works. It's gonna be over in 6 hours and 59 minutes. If you want to get it, then check it out right now. You can find it by going to my website, AnnaRudolphChess.com. Anna Rudolph Chess, just like this, all together. Anna with 2 N's, Rudolph with an F, and chess. So my name plus the word chess.com, AnnaRudolphChess.com. That's where you have a link to this 50% discount. Only today. This is only if you want to become my pupil, because so many of you have mailed me and so many of you asked me if you can get lessons by me, from me, private lessons. I don't offer private lessons, but I do have now this training course, which is for the purpose to help you, club players, from the rating 1200 up to 2100. Anyone who is stuck on the same level, anyone who feels like no progress is coming. You study, you practice, you follow events, and you still don't progress. Now, if you experience that, then the training course is for you. If you have other problems in chess, then the training course is not for you. So this is what you should know. That is what my training course is about, and that's what I'm aiming to do, helping you overcome those chess obstacles that prevent you from improving. So on my website, AnnaRudolphChess.com, that's where you can get it. This has been Anna Rudolph Vampire Anna. On my Facebook Live, someone said, no, actually on Instagram, someone said that this is the blood of betters. I would never say that. I would never call you betters. I think every one of you is a good player. And I think most of you have chess problems. I mean, we all have, of course, obstacles, barriers. Me too. But I think for you it's a lot easier to improve because those obstacles can be fixed very easily. Those are about how you think during the chess game, basically. So it's a thought process that you need and not knowing more. You know a lot of chess already. What you need is to fix how you think, how not to blunder, how to win winning positions, so to always spot tactical motives, how to know what is the right plan, because you need to find the best moves. You cannot just guess the moves. You need to understand the position and then find the right plan, and then the right moves come. And also you should always know what the opponent wants so that you can be a step ahead of him. That is what my training course is about. I hope that if you become my pupil, you let me know about it. That's the only thing I want to ask from you, that if you become my pupil, do let me know. Tweet me, Anna_chess on Twitter. Direct message my Facebook page, Facebook Anna Rudolf Chess with a blue arrow. That's my Facebook page. You can message me there or comment under one of the photos. Do let me know that you are one of my pupils and what is your chess goal, and if my lessons are helping you achieve that. I just want to help you as much as possible. So do let me know if you are a pupil of mine and how can I help you. There's the training course. Do let me know if you have it and whether it is something that you find useful. This has been a pleasure. Happy Halloween again. Yeah, I think it's gonna take me an hour to take this off. See you next week on Thursday as usual. So this Thursday there's no show, but Sopiko will stream. I'm pretty sure about that. So tune in to Sopiko's Banter Blitz, and in general follow the European Team Championship with Jan's commentary and Fiona's interviews. I'll see you next week on Thursday and on my social media every day, basically. See you guys.